Welcome to part 1, where we will be building a deck featuring Raging Bolt, Iono's Bellibolt with its ability Electric Streamer, and the Stadium Lavincia. Be sure to catch part 2, where we compete with this deck at our first ever league night at our local game shop. Let's go! Hey guys, I am so excited to finally be doing this. We are going to be building my Iono's Bellibolt deck in real life. And finally, these two beauties came in the mail from a TCG player. I have the full art Raging Bolt EX and the promo Raging Bolt EX. I don't know how I've never pulled a Raging Bolt, but he is extremely important to this deck, and I don't think it will work without it. So Raging Bolt is going to be our main attacker, and now that they've come in the mail, we can build this deck. So we've already sleeved them up because we know for a fact those are going in the deck. Sorry, my glasses are fogging up. And then when we opened our Iono's Premium Tournament Collection box, it came with this beautiful deck box, which we're definitely going to be using to store our deck once it's completed. Also came with the Iono's promos. These come in the Cosmos Hollow pattern with the little stamp on it, and also the full art. And our deck does need 4 Ionos for hand disruption, so we will be using all of those. They're already sleeved. For anybody who does not play Iono's supporter card, each player shuffles their hand and puts it on the bottom of their deck. If either player put any cards on the bottom of their deck in this way, each player draws a card for each of their remaining prize cards. So you do have to do it. You are disrupting the other person's hand, so hopefully whatever they had in their hand that would help them is now gone, and hopefully they have drawn some useless cards. So it helps you out, and hopefully you've drawn some better cards, but it's completely random and luck. So be careful, because I've misplayed on Iono's before, and I probably will in the future. So, but it's a really, really good supporter card that a lot of decks use. It can be used in almost any deck. It's not specific, so that is a really good utility card. So in Pokemon TCG, your deck consists of 60 cards, and those 60 cards can be broken up into 3 types. You are broken up into energies. This is how you power your attacks. You do need energies. I know everybody hates getting them in their packs. They're a waste of a card, but you need energies in order to play. Some attacks, like Raging Bolts, needs a lightning and a fighting energy, so you may need 2 types of energies. So we do have our fighting and our lightning here. And you'll notice at the top here, the first attack, Burst Roar, is actually, it's a star. That's a colorless energy. That means you can use any type of energy you want. If you have a lightning first, if you have a fighting first, if you have a psychic energy, that will work for this one. So colorless energy attacks are the best, because it doesn't matter what kind of energy you have. So that's going to be your first part. The second part is obviously going to be your Pokemon, and you're obviously going to have more than just Raging Bolt in your deck, but we're going to get to that. And then last but not least is going to be your trainers, and trainers can be supporters, they can be items, or they can be tools, Pokemon tools. They attach to Pokemon to help them, or stadiums. And I wasn't putting stadiums in my deck very often, because whatever stadium you use, it will work for both players, so yours and your opponent's. You don't want to give them an advantage. However, if you do not put stadiums in your deck, and your opponent puts out a stadium that helps their deck, there's no way to discard it unless you put out another stadium. So I highly, highly suggest always having some sort of stadium in your deck. I don't care what it is, just put something in there so you can at least discard whatever they have if you need to. Or I think Pidgeot EX. There's a couple of Pokemon that have attacks that you can discard an energy and play if you need to. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. So then you need your supporter, which in this case is going to be Iono's Bellibolt. Kind of like a secondary attacker if you absolutely need to, but you'd rather use Raging Bolt. But also is the supporter. So Iono's Bellibolt ability is Electric Streamer. As often as you like during your turn, you may attach a basic lightning energy from your hand to one of Iono's Pokemon, which is huge. You can continually add lightning energies to any of your Iono's Pokemon. So a lot of these Pokemon are going to be Iono's Pokemon. And then Raging Bolt's attack goes with that because Bellowing Thunder is 70 times. You may discard any amount of basic energy from your Pokemon. This attack does 70 damage for each card you discarded in this way. So you can add all of your energies using Bellibolt to all of Iono's Pokemon on your bench. Then Raging Bolt will use those energies to power up its own attack and discard all of them. Well, then you're thinking, how am I going to continue if I run out of energies? Well, that's where Lavincia, the stadium, comes in. And it says once during each player's turn, that player may put up to 2 basic lightning energy cards from their discard into their hand. Awesome. So now you're just cycling your energies around and around and around, and you don't lose them. Obviously, if you lose your Lavincia, like somebody discards it out, you're going to need another way to get your energies out. So there are other item cards in here that you can use. So Night Stretcher, you can put a Pokemon or a basic energy card from your discard pile back into your hand. So if you need an additional one, Professor Sada's Vitality, you can put energies from your discard on up to 2 of your ancient Pokemon, which would be your Raging Bolts. And if you do draw 3 cards, this one, I wasn't using it right at first. Like I wasn't using it to its optimal ability, I guess. But recently I have been, and it's working so well. I absolutely love it. Earthen Vessel will help you get energies out of your deck. You can go and find them. And then there's a Superior Energy Retrieval. If you absolutely need all of those energies that are in your discard and you've already used Lavincia or you don't have it, you can discard 2 cards and put 4 basic energies from your discard. So there are a lot of different trainer cards that you can use to get those energies out, and the point is to put as many copies as you can that will help you find the cards that you need at the right time. The at the right time part is where I struggle, so we're working on it. So that's the biggest thing. We want to use those trainer cards and supporter cards to get us the cards that we need at the time that we need them, and that's how we're going to win. So most decks nowadays also have some sort of, I don't even know what you want to call this, but like a Pheasantipity would be in here too. One of those, honestly, they're liabilities. They're liability cards, but they all serve a purpose. So Cleffa, I love Cleffa. Cleffa's fantastic because if you see this energy cost right here, it's like white. It's not a colorless energy, it's no energy. You don't need energy to use it. And Grasping Draw, you can draw until you have 7 cards in your hand. This is really useful to help you get that early game lead with your cards. However, Cleffa only has HP of 30, so it's an easy knockout. However, if you use Cleffa and your opponent takes a prize card for knocking out Cleffa, there are trainer cards that can help you by being behind on prize cards. It's a whole thing. You just have to know what cards to use at what time. Squawkabilly, this is actually the one we're going to be using in ours. Its ability is once during your first turn, you may discard your hand and draw 6 cards. You can't use more than 1 Squawk and Seize ability during your turn, so you can only use this on your first turn. It's a little difficult to use, so if you don't get it in your first hand or you can't find it in your first hand, then he's pretty much not very helpful later on in the game. But you can, a lot of my cards you need to discard, so if you need to. And then Mew is huge. It has the ability to restart. Once during your turn, you may draw cards until you have 3 cards in your hand. So if you are running low on cards in your hand, Mew is very helpful. However, notice that all of these have very, very low HP. They're very easy knockouts. So if your opponent has a boss's orders, most likely they're going to boss up one of these. Most likely one of these. Cleffa will probably be gone. And take an easy knockout. And these are 2 prize cards each. So just be careful how you use them. And then when we're looking at our deck list of what we are trying to find in real life, it's great because on TCG Player it lets you just type in the Pokemon that you're looking for. You can find it, pay your little coins for it, or you might have scanned for it. And then you can put them in your deck. In real life, you have to go find all of these cards. So I wanted to show you one thing. Be careful about the type of card you are putting into your deck. So Miraidon EX is one that we're going to be using, already sleeved in our Iono's Bellibolt sleeve. But at first I picked up this one. This is also Miraidon EX. This one is from Temple Forces. This one's from Scarlet Violet Base. They're very, very small differences. They're the same colors, but you'll notice that this one is a future. This one is not. But the big difference that we need to be aware of, number one, this uses psychic energies. We don't need that. But this one, and it's a dragon. This one's a lightning, and the ability is once during your turn, you may search your deck for up to 2 basic lightning Pokemon, put them onto your bench, then shuffle your deck. This is what we need. If we put this one in our deck, we wouldn't be able to use the ability that we're looking for. Kind of pointless. And we also don't have any psychic energy, so we're not going to be able to do anything with it. So just be careful. These cards can look very, very similar, but they're not the same. For Iono's Bellibolt, notice that its ability, Electric Streamer, as often as you like during your turn, you may attach a basic lightning energy from your hand to one of Iono's Pokemon, one of your Iono's Pokemon. So you could use a regular Watchroll or a regular Tadbulb and put them in, and you can evolve from there. However, it's not an Iono's Pokemon, so it won't be able to use the ability the same. So you can put them in your deck, but I wouldn't. I would stick with the Iono's Watchrolls, but it's completely up to you how you want to do this. Another Pokemon that I hadn't really thought of, but we could use it in our deck, I haven't tried, is the regular Raging Bolt. This is a 1-prizer because it's not an EX. It's a Raging Bolt Ancient, and it still uses the lightning and fire energies. I'm not sure. The only reason I would probably want to put this in here is because there are some cards that don't allow any Pokemon with an ability to hit them, although this doesn't have an ability. And there's also Pokemon that don't allow EXs to attack them, which makes it pretty difficult. So if your whole deck has EXs, it is really, really difficult to go against those decks. They are like stalling disruption decks. I hate them. And those 1-prizer decks, they take forever. So I'm thinking about it, but I'm not quite sure. I don't know. That's an option. So for the most part, we want to go off what our list says here because I know how that works. And then we're kind of go from there. So we already have our 2 Raging Bolts. We have our 4 Ionos. We need 3 Iono's Tadbulbs because you must put down a basic before you can evolve it. And Tadbulb is the basic form of Bellibolt. So we're going to use 3 Iono's Tadbulbs and 3 Bellibolts. Now 3 Bellibolts seems a little excessive. Normally you would do like 2, but if I prize one and then one gets knocked out, I'm sorry, I definitely need a 3rd one. And then we need 2 Iono's Watchrolls and 2 Iono's Kilowattrolls. Again, not sure if I need 2 of each or not, but for now, that's what we're gonna do. So those are gonna be like our main Pokemon in there, other than we need Squawkabilly. And I know for a fact we need this Miraidon with the ability, so we can get out our Tadbulbs and our Watchrolls, and that's really helpful because that means most likely we don't need, and this is a very useful trainer, but if we have the Miraidon, we don't need to go searching for a Buddy Poffin, which is search your deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon with 70 HP or less and put them onto your bench, then shuffle your deck. This is nice, but Miraidon kind of does that. So along with the nest balls and the ultra balls, we should be okay. So it's a couple less trainers that we need. This is a lot of work. So we have our main Pokemon all set here, and I'm looking at my screen. And then the trainers are going to be a big part. So in the game, if you guys have never played, like I said, there are several types of trainers. There's the stadium, there are supporters, there are items, and there are tools. These tools, this one specifically is really good, and I wasn't using it before, and I think I'm going to use it now. Ancient Booster Energy Capsule. It's an ancient. So the ancient Pokemon this card is attached to gets plus 60 HP. So if you put it on Raging Bolt, who originally has 240, it will go up to 300. And recovers from all special conditions and can't be affected by special conditions, which means it can't be poisoned, it can't be burned, it can't be put to sleep, it can't be confused, which is huge. So not only are you putting all of this extra HP, so it's harder to knock out. It's like a, what's it called? The Bravery Charm, but better. And then it also can't be affected by the special conditions. So this is huge, and I think we're going to use this, but it's not, I don't think it's in my original deck. No, I have Bravery Charm in there. So this one's good, and you can attach only one Pokemon tool per Pokemon. You can only have one. So if I have this, I can't put on a rescue board, which uses one less energy to retreat. So that's big. But you can put as many Pokemon tools as you want out in a turn, just only one per Pokemon. Supporters, you can only use one supporter per turn, so be careful. If you use an Iono because you have no cards in your hand and you draw your new hand and you pull a boss's orders and you're like, yes, now I can boss's orders this up. You can't. You just use an Iono. You can only use one supporter per turn. That is always difficult for me to remember. There's little ability use now things. I love it. Anyways, so the supporters, there's a lot of supporters in this deck, which makes it a little difficult because you can only use one per turn. Professor Sada's Vitality, I can't use boss's orders and this one in the same turn, so that makes it difficult. However, then we have our item cards. And item cards, you can use as many as you want per turn. So I can use Night Stretcher, I can use an Earthen Vessel to go get my energies out, I can use an Ultra Ball, I can use a Nest Ball all in my same turn. It's fantastic. I love it. That's why the newest card, Badoo, is so playable because it is an item lock. So although it's 30 HP and it only hits you for 10, you can't use any, your opponent can't use any item cards their next turn. So it's super disruptive, especially if you were holding on to that nest ball until the next turn because you were afraid of an Iono. You know, there's a lot of things to consider. It's a big strategy game, so we want a good amount of item cards because we can use so many of them, but supporters sometimes can help you more. So we want a good even mix. Ultra Balls, you discard 2 cards out of your hand and you can search your deck for any Pokemon in your deck, which is great. But a Nest Ball, you don't have to discard anything. You search your deck for a basic Pokemon, put it onto your bench, but only a basic. So Wattrel, Tadbulb, Miraidon, Squawkabilly, or Raging Bolt all work. So we want a lot of Nest Balls. The only thing we need for an Ultra Ball could be anything, but Bellibolt and Kilowattrel would not be able to use a Nest Ball. We want several of these Professor Sada's Vitalities, and then Professor's Research, we have a lot of those too. Discard your hand, draw 7 cards. So please keep in mind, you cannot use more than 4 copies of any one card in your deck. Why would you want 4 copies? So you can find them, because some of them will be in your prizes, some of them will be at the bottom of your deck, some of them will get Iono'd back into your deck. Some of them would be in your discard. You want to be able to find them as much as possible, so you want as many copies as possible. This one is very popular in electric decks. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck and attach up to 2 basic lightning energy cards you find there to your bench lightning Pokemon in any way you like. Shuffle the other cards back into your deck. This one is used in like the Pikachu and Miraidon Iron Hands decks a lot. This is a big one. I don't think we need it because we have so many ways of getting our energies out, and Bellibolt will help us attach. So I don't think we're going to use it, but this is a really, really popular playable electric deck card. So I think we're going to start putting these together. And while I'm finding all of these, I am going to explain the game a little bit to you guys. But first, so this is my new Korean Terrassal Festival map. And this is really nice because it shows you where everything goes. So you'll see where the deck goes. This is where your face down cards are, your 60 card deck. Your trash is right below it, or your discard. And I love this as a Korean map, but it's in English. The battlefield is going to be in the middle there. That's where your active Pokemon goes. At the bottom, you'll see the bench. There are 5 slots. You can have up to 5 Pokemon on your bench. You can only put down basic Pokemon first, and then after the turn after you put them down is when you can start to evolve. You cannot evolve a Pokemon the same turn that you put it down on the field. So that's very important to note, unless you're Flareon or unless you're that Eevee. I love that Eevee. Anyways. And then your 6 prizes go right here. These are your face down prize cards. You pick up these prizes as you knock out your opponent's Pokemon. So they have different prizes. This would be a single prize card. It's not an EX. Wattrel would be a single prize card. It's not an EX. There's just one. Miraidon, however, is an EX, and it would be 2 prize cards if you knock it out. And it says it at the bottom if you were wondering. It says Pokemon EX rule. When your Pokemon EX is knocked out, your opponent takes 2 prize cards. Now, there are other cards that will allow you to take 3 prize cards. I know Hydreigon, I think I've taken 5 or 6 prize cards in one turn. And there's only 6 prizes normally in a game, so Hydreigon's fun, but it wasn't always reliable. But when it worked, it worked. Anyways, so we're gonna get our cards together. We're gonna find our 4 Ultra Balls, and I know for a fact we're gonna need the Ultra Balls. So we need to find them. 2, 3, 4. We need 4 Earthen Vessels. Good stuff. Earthen Vessels are going to help us find our energies in our deck. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then Boss's Orders. I had a hell of a time trying to find Boss's Orders. This is my yellow bordered Boss's Orders from Brilliant Stars. Now, normally you wouldn't be able to use anything from Sword and Shield, but because it's the exact same card, they'll allow it for this. But normally they go into rotation. So you'll see the little letter down there. We're, I guess, in G right now, H. So all of Scarlet and Violet's you can use, but Sword and Shields have gone away. And we have one more Boss's Orders. We need at least 2. And it's funny because I know I have this. I don't know where all my Boss's Orders went. I look forever. I can't find them. Oh my goodness. All right. There you go. Another yellow border one. Boss's Orders. And Boss's Orders is one of those supporters that's going to be in everyone's deck. People using on the Charizard decks are notorious for using them. Super Energy Retrieval. We want 2 of those just in case. I use them sometimes and they come in handy. 1, 2. All right, Night Stretcher, 1, 2, and then Professor Sada's Vitality. And by the way, having an organized trainer box is extremely important when you would like to deck build. Oh my goodness, it is a mess trying to find things. I even have straight trainer boxes. I have one back there that's labeled, and I have a couple of ETBs, and I still took forever. All right, and for this research, we need 3. So this one is discard your hand and draw 7 cards. 1, 2, 3. I think originally the deck had 4 of all these supporters, but I was adding in other things. Laventia, we want 1, 2, 3. I honestly don't think the reverse hollows look much better for Laventia, so I'm just gonna use the regulars. We have our 4 Ionos, and then we need 4 nest balls. 1, 2, 3. Where's that last nest ball? Now I'm gonna find another nest ball. And then Bravery Charm. However, Bravery Charm only works for basic Pokemon, and it's only 50. So we decided instead we were going to use the Ancient Energy Booster Capsule. There we go. So we're going to use that instead of the Bravery Charm. There's a second one. Awesome. That's going to be really, really helpful. Now, there are other trainers in here that I thought might be really helpful. Professor Turo's Scenario, put one of your Pokemon in play into your hand and discard all cards attached to that Pokemon. This is really helpful when you have, you know, Squawkabilly is taking up space on your bench because you've already used his ability and you can't use it in the rest of the game. That's nice. It's also good if Iono's Bellibolt is about to go down and you need him. So you can pick him up before he gets knocked out completely, and then you can start putting it back down so that you don't get the prize cards. Same with Raging Bolt, but I'm not sure. I think there was also Penny in here somewhere. Super Rod's always helpful too, but I don't think we're gonna use it. So here are all the different Professor's researches, by the way. There's like 6,000 Professor researches. They're all different. And for Saturo's Scenario, yeah, I think I have a Penny somewhere as well. And Penny allows you to pick up any basic Pokemon, so the Raging Bolt, Miraidon, Squawkabilly would all work, and you don't have to discard. You can keep all of your energies and everything, so that's pretty nifty as well. But I think we're okay on our trainers for now. And now that we have everything pretty much set up, do we need any of these? No, I'm not sure. I don't know if I want to use the Raging Bolt or not. I'll think about it. So then we need to look at our energies. We need 3 fighting energies, and yes, I have 4 actually. I have these nice hollow ones. I have the cracked ice ones from the Terapagos. And that actually brings me into my next thing, the fun part about the deck building. We get to upgrade. So we're gonna do that in a second. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We need at least 9 energies. Let's get rid of the basic ones though. Let's keep the cracked dice looking ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So now we have all of our energies, and altogether we should have about 60 cards, but we will double check that in a minute. So, nope, we're missing one. We are missing. So, Prime Catcher, don't forget your ace spec. And we know we're going to use this one. So, each deck may have 1 ace spec in its deck, only 1. This one is Prime Catcher, very playable. Switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active spot, and if you do, switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon, so it's kind of like a double boss's orders, which is really nice. You can use it once, it's discarded, it's done. but you can only have one in your deck. I think these are super pretty. They're super playable. I love them. Just make sure you're choosing the correct ace spec. I like Legacy Energy a lot because the Legacy Energy can be any energy you want when you attach it, and if your Pokemon gets knocked out, your opponent takes one less prize card. So that's really nice when it's on one of your strong attackers, and you only want them to take like one prize card for your EX. So that's really nice. Or I'll put it on my Monkey Dory. They never want to take out the Monkey Dory because I don't get any prize cards. I keep attacking. Anyways. Then we have all of our special cards. So this Ancient Energy Booster Capsule was in a Roaring Moon box. It's got the Cosmos Hollow energy pattern. I love this. So we're definitely going to put that one in. And then I pulled the gold electric energy in this opening. So I already put it in the sleeve because I was like, that's definitely going in there. So we're definitely putting that in. Here's Penny. I think we might go with Penny. Put one of your basic Pokemon all attached cards back into your hand. Because I have mostly basics that we'll work with, I think we're gonna go with Penny. Let's go with Penny. We might have to take something out. Oh, okay. I had already planned for the 4th Nest Ball, the gold Nest Ball. See, upgrade the deck right on, and it's from Scarlet Violet 1. So we have a gold Nest Ball, and this is when your gold trainer cards look really good in your deck. Crispin's good. Search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards of different types, reveal them, and put one of them into your hand and attach the other to your Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. Yes. I see how this could be used for Raging Bolt pretty well. I kind of want to, but I think Professor Sada's Vitality is better. Buddy Buddy Poffin, we have our Pokeball Buddy Buddy Poffin. I think we decided we're not going to do that though. Our Pokeball Professor Turo's Scenario. Our full art Professor Turo's Scenario, and our full art Penny with the Umbreon right on. I think we're gonna use the other Penny for this one, and I think we have some hollow energies, lightning energies, so I'm gonna just leave those up too. And these are just little things we do to deck out, to make the deck more fun. And as you win, you can get store credit and things where you can get more upgrades for your deck and make them super, super pretty. So let me make sure I have everything. I'm not sure. All right. If we put in 4, we need to take out 4. That would be how that goes. All right. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62. Okay, so I have 2 extra. What are we taking out? Okay, I think we're gonna take out an Ultra Ball. We're gonna take out an Ultra Ball. And oh, I have 3 ancient boosters. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right, awesome. So now we have our 60 card deck, and now that's left is to sleeve them all and make them pretty. While I do that, kind of wanted to explain to you how the game works for those who have never played. or would like to. If you've played, feel free to just zoom right through this. So each player is going to shuffle their 60 card deck. Make sure you have your favorite playmat, your favorite dice, your condition markers, usually burn and poison, your favorite sleeves, deck sleeves. Matte sleeves are usually better for shuffling. I've noticed that a lot at pre-release. They have a lot of matte sleeves. I like the fun ones, but these are actually made for playing with your deck too. Don't get the glossy ones for playing. They're annoying and they stick. Just a little tidbit. So you're going to shuffle your 60 card deck, and you are going to let your opponent either cut or tap. They talk a lot during these. You're going to draw 7 cards to start and hope for a basic Pokemon. There must be a basic Pokemon in your hand. If not, you show your opponent your hand and you say mulligan. If so, you shuffle your deck again and draw another 7, and your opponent may draw an additional card if they would like. Once you have a basic Pokemon, you put one down in the active spot, face down. If you'd like to put some on your bench face down, you may. And then once both of you are ready, you put down 6 prize cards face down. You are not supposed to know what's in your prizes, so do not peek. And you're also going to flip a coin. It would be either heads or tails. I like doing dice, and then whatever is heads or tails, because coins will go flying. I don't like flipping them, but anyways, you choose heads or tails. Whoever wins the coin toss will choose whether they want to go first or second. Keep in mind, the person who goes first cannot attack, and the person who goes first cannot play a supporter on their first turn, except for very few supporters, like Carmine, that allows you to use it on your first turn. I think that's the only one. And then Squawkabilly, if I have him out on my first turn, I can use him, and he's basically like a supporter where you can discard your hand and draw 6 cards. Say your hand is terrible, Squawkabilly will help. So just keep that in mind if you want to go first, but I know decks like Charizard decks love to go first because they can evolve immediately. The person who goes second can attack. So if you go first, make sure you have something on your bench. Anything. It's really difficult if you only have the one Pokemon out in your active, unless it's like an EX and a little bit more difficult to kill. If it's like a 60 HP Pokemon, there are several ways you can win, let's put it that way. If you knock out all of your opponent's Pokemon and take all of your prize cards, so take 6 prize cards, then you win. If you knock out your opponent's active Pokemon and they don't have anything on their bench to play with, then you win. Or if your opponent decks out, meaning they run out of cards in their deck to draw from, because at the beginning of your turn you have to draw a card. If they don't have anything to draw into, you win. There are several deck disruption. There's disruption decks that specifically try to get you to deck out. I can't stand them. They're so annoying to play against, but they're there. So there are several ways that you can win. It doesn't just have to be taking all your prize cards. So just be careful. On your turn, you must draw a card first before you do anything else. And then during your turn, you may either attach an energy, only 1 per turn. You can play a supporter, only 1 per turn. You can play as many item cards as you'd like per turn. You may put down as many Pokemon tools as you'd like per turn, but only 1 Pokemon tool per Pokemon. So say you have your Raging Bolt and you put down, I think it's all the way at the end. So you put down your Ancient Booster Energy Capsule on it. That is its Pokemon tool. It can't have another Pokemon tool. It can have energies. But if I have another Raging Bolt down here, I can put another Ancient Energy Booster Capsule on this Raging Bolt in the same turn. I can do that. But I can only put one energy per turn, not per Pokemon, per turn. Unless that's why Iono's Bellibolt's Electric Streamer ability is so fantastic. What else can you do per turn? So the Prime Catcher, this one is an item. It goes by whatever it is. So you can use a Prime Catcher and a Nest Ball in the same turn. You can just only have one Ace-Spec in your deck. Back before rotation, there were Radiants, and you could only use one Radiant in your deck as well, but I'm pretty sure they're out of rotation now. So every year, maybe, I'm not sure exactly how often, they'll go through rotation, which means they'll take out a lot of very powerful cards that work with the new cards. And you'll no longer be able to use them in their deck. So rotation just happened back in March, and now we can't use the Pokemon Vs and VMAXs. They had some of those Seal Stones, trainers. They had Manphy. If you put it on your bench, none of your Pokemon on your bench could be harmed by attacks. That's no longer valid. So there were a lot of decks that used those, like Regidrago V-Star was a big one. I can't use that anymore. Rotom V was one of those utilities like Mew EX and Cleffa. I can't use that one anymore. The Fish, Luminion V, was a big utility. Like the Mew EX and Cleffa. So I want to say like every year, every 2 years, they go through rotation, and they add in all, as the sets come out, they're valid in play, but they'll rotate out all of the older cards. So we're no longer in Sword and Shield V Stars, we're all in Scarlet Violet. So you'll notice they're all like G and H in the bottom. And that's how you know you have a legal tournament deck. So just make sure there's 60 cards in your deck. You have your energies, trainers, supporters, items, stadiums, tools, your Pokemon. Make sure you have basic Pokemon. If you don't have any basic Pokemon, you'll never start. You'll mulligan a million times. So those are my biggest tips and tricks. We are going to go to our first league night on Tuesday. We're going to test it out. So I really hope we do well. Let me know if you guys have any decks you'd like me to try and build, and see if we can test it at another league night. I'm hoping to go back more often if this one goes well. Because my mom has to watch the kids, so hopefully they're good. But otherwise, guys, I am so excited to try this out, and wish me luck.